Hey there, welcome back. Now let us write test cases for our watchlist app. So what I'm going to do is, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to import everything here, and then I'm going to start working with our streaming thing, our watchlist thing, as well as our review thing. So if you jump onto your models now, and if you remember the sequence, so if I need to create a watch list, that means if I need to add a movie, I first need some platform. So that means I need this stream platform first. Or maybe if I need to create a review, I first need to have a movie first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow a sequence. First I'm going to test my stream platform, then my watch list, and then review. So in this manner we will understand everything. And also this is going to be much simpler than this one. So we need to talk about insertion, that means to create a stream platform. Then we need to talk about to get an individual element. Also, if you jump onto your views, so here we have our API view, we have delete option as well as update option also. So we can do everything. That's it. Let me get back to my models now. This is going to be my model, and here I'm going to write everything. So the first thing, I have imported my user, then I have reverse, status, API test case, then my token, and then I also need my serializer as well as my model. So I'm going to import them through my watch list. That is going to be API, and then I'm going to import my serializer. Next thing I'm going to import is my models. Once that is done, I have to create a class for my stream platform test case. That's it. Now we need to do some basic setup like we need to create a user and then identify that user, and with that user we can send some data and create all the other things. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a setup. But let's skip that setup part. Let's try to do testing without that. So here I'm going to use this test, and then it is going to be my stream platform create. Now to create my stream platform, all I need to do is pass my data. The data require about my name, about, as well as website. So here if I jump, I need to pass name. I'm going to pass Netflix. Then I'm going to pass about. And then my website, that is the Netflix website. So this is going to be netflix.com. This looks fine to me. So this is our data, and then we need to send a post request. So I'm going to store the response inside my response variable, use my self client, and here I'm going to send a post request, and I need to send this request to a particular URL. So if I jump onto URLs here, now if this was the active link, then we are going to send a request to stream-list, but currently we are using our view set as well as router. So all I have to do is use this stream platform, copy this one, get back here and use list. This is going to work fine, and then we are going to send some data which will be here. This looks fine, and then all I have to do is just use assert equals to. Here I am going to test out the response code. So if we are going to create this, that means we should get a 200 response. That means okay. So let me check out our response code. 201 created. Get back here and use status. And this should be 201. Let me save this one. Remember, we are trying to send this request without logged in as a user. So if you jump onto views right now, here our permission class is for admin only. Let me get back here, send this request. And here we got a fail request. This is related to our stream platform create. line number 21 inside our watchlist app, and we got a 401. Definitely we did something wrong, that is, we are not authorized actually. So if you jump here, 401 is unauthorized. Now here, even if we try to log in as a normal user, even if we create a normal user, try to access this one, we are going to get similar error. Why? Because this is admin only. A normal user can send only read-only request. So this is one thing we need to take care about. So that means even if I create a normal user, they will not be able to send a request. And that's it, that's our main motive. So what I should return as a status code if a normal user try to send this data, it should be 403. That is forbidden. So let me get back here and try to do the setup. I'm going to create a user. So I'm going to store that user inside my self.user. Here I'm going to create our object. Now all I have to do is create this user. I need to pass username as well as password. And here I'm going to pass password as password@123. This looks fine. Now I need to get the token as well as I need to use client.credentials to log in. Everything we are doing inside setup, all the other methods can utilize this. So we don't have to worry much. So here I'm going to use this token. I'm going to access the token for this particular user, which is my user underscore, and then I'm going to utilize the username _username, and here I need to pass self.user, which we recently got. Once that is done, I need to pass the information to my self client, and I need to send a credential request. And this is going to take HTTP authorization. So if you remember, we did something similar. Yep. This looks fine. So now we are logged in as a user. We are now logged in as a user for this particular method itself because we ran this code first. Now a normal user is going to send a request with this data to this link, and they should get a 403 forbidden error. If I try to run this one, here you can see they got a 403 and we are trying to match it with 201. So I need to change this one, get back here, and let me copy this one. If I run my test case again, you can see everything is working fine here. So this looks fine. We try to create a user, access its token, try to use credentials, and then try to send a request in the form of normal user. Now what else a normal user can do? They can send GET request for individual element as well as for list. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create both the test cases. Let me call this as test underscore. So instead of create, I need to get all the list. And inside this, I just need to send a request to our URL, that is a GET request, and then match our response code in the form of status. Just use my response, and here I'm going to send a GET request, that is self client, and send a GET request. And the link will be this list itself. Since it's a GET request, we don't need to pass any data. Once that is done, we just need to match the status code. And since it's a GET request, that means if the request is successful, we are going to get 200 OK. Let me jump here, copy my status code. This looks fine. So if I jump back here, test this. This works fine. Now here, this response is correct, but the problem is we don't have any list right now. We haven't added any StreamPlatform, that is, we haven't added any platform right now. This was an error, that means this was not allowed since this was added by a normal user and only admin can add it. So that means this list is empty. And at this point of time, I cannot access any individual element. Why? Because there is no element. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add an element here in my setup. That is, I'm adding this manually and then I'm going to access it individually. Now here what I need to do is I just need to call my model and then create method. So let me use self.stream. That means I'm going to store the response here. And then I'm going to call my models.stream.object. This is going to be StreamPlatform. This is my models, and then here I'm going to use StreamPlatform.objects.create, and I need to pass name, about as well as website. This looks fine. So here I created an element manually. Now if I need to access an element individually, I can access the ID number 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new function, that is my test underscore stream platform, and then I'm going to access individual element. Let me call this as individual ind. Now inside this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send a request and I'm going to store a response. So request will be sent to my stream platform -detail. I don't need to send any data, but I need to check about the ID. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass an argument and I need to pass the ID for this particular stream. So this should be 1 actually, because we are adding the first stream, but I'm going to access the ID here. And this is going to be .id. Actually, we need to pass this in the form of tuple. Yeah, this looks fine. So here we are passing an argument for our ID 1. Now once we get the response, it should be 200. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to match this here. Save this one. Let me test here. And we got an error. Let me check which is the line number 36. Get back here. We send a GET request and the URL is our stream platform detail. Here I did a quick mistake. This argument should be passed with this link itself. So here we open the bracket, we pass the link, and then the argument is with our link itself. So let me pass this and close this here. So this first bracket is over here, second bracket is over here, and third bracket is over here. We need to pass this argument inside our reverse itself. I hope you got the idea. Get back here. Let me run this one. This worked fine and this is okay. So that's how we are going to access our individual element. What we are going to do is we are going to pass an argument inside this reverse itself and we need to pass our ID. Now here we did two important things. Inside our setup, we created a user, logged in as a user, and also manually created a platform. Why? So we can test the list as well as this platform, that is our individual platform. That is done. Otherwise, if this was not created, how we are going to get the ID for individual platform? We need an element to access the individual item. That's done for streaming platform as a user. If you want to write more cases regarding put as well as delete, a normal user cannot do this because it's a admin only section. So I have written everything for normal user only. But as a homework, after completing this whole section, as a homework, what you are going to do is you are going to write a put request as well as delete request for this stream platform. They are going to send a response in the form of 403. Why? Because a normal user cannot update it, also cannot delete it, also cannot create it. So as a homework, do this after completing this whole section. Just write these two methods for update as well as delete. For now that is done. Get is working, list is working, create is working. Now in the next one we are going to talk about watch list. So if you remember our model part, we need to test this now. I hope this lecture was helpful. Thank you for following and I see you guys in the next one.